All right, we're going to finish up our discussion of linked lists. Finishes up the chapter. It's going to get you going on your next programming assignment. And with the last topic we need to talk about are what are called doubly linked list. And don't confuse that with double-ended, which we spoke about before. So the idea of let's first talk motivated. Our discussions of linked lists, we've drawn things that look like this. And frequently we have some variable called rover that sort of goes through this thing. And the problem with a singly linked list like this is you can only go one way. You can go that way. And that's it. You can't go backwards. So the idea of a doubly linked list is we redefine our nodes. And we have something that we call a previous pointer. We have something that we call next. And then we put our data in here. So that what you might have is you might get something that looks like this. This one points back that way. And this would be null. And this would be null. But the beauty of this is that if I have some variable called rover, wherever it's referencing, okay, I can just go in this direction to get back over to here, or I can go in this direction, okay? So we can assume that there are methods called getPrev and setPrev. And likewise, there would be a getNext and a setNext. So that again, if we were in a situation like this, maybe we have a list that looks like this. And we have a situation where that's pointing to ground, that points that way, that points that way, like that. And that's going to ground. And here's new node that I want to insert. And let's suppose rover is pointing here. And let's suppose I want to insert new node before rover. Okay, now this isn't too hard. You've got to be a little bit careful. So what you need to remember, first of all, there are going to be two references here that I'm going to need to set. And basically what I need to do, I wonder if this is time for colors. So if I come over here, hang on. Let's try some colors. So if I want to insert rover, if I want to insert new node before this, there are a couple of things that are pretty easy. I've got to set this one over here. And I'll put a 1 there. Okay, and that's got to point to rover. Okay, so I'm going to just say that new node dot set next is rover. That's one. Okay, now this thing has to go back. So this thing is pointing here. This thing needs to point over here. Okay, so I need to say new node.setPrev. Well, it's got to go to rover.getPrev. Okay, that's number 2. Okay, so I've, in essence, put those things in there. Now I need to change these 2 things over here. Well, let's see. How are we going to do that? This thing over here, instead of pointing to rover, now needs to point at new node. But how do I get to this thing here? I want to get to it. Well, I could do rover.getPrev, gets me over to here, and then I say dot set next. Rover.getPrev dot set next. And that's my new node. So now what's happened is this no longer points up here, but instead points over to there. Okay, and then what I need to do is I need to change this thing. Instead of pointing over here, and I'm going to cross that out, this thing needs to now point down here too. So this was the 3rd thing I did. And the 4th thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say rover.setPrev to new node. Took me 4 steps to do it. Also a favorite test question. Favorite test question. So you should be aware of that. Okay, I just have one more thing to talk about. So what happens on program 2? Let's keep the red ink for a while. So the program 2, what's going to happen is you're going to eliminate the ordered arrays and replace with double-ended doubly linked sorted lists. Okay, so to give you an example, and remember you're going to need 3 of them. One for the first name, one for the last name, one for the ID. So maybe we have something like this. Here's Al, and Al's at record 3 in the array. And maybe over here is Mary, who's at record 1. And maybe over here I've got Tom, who's at record 5. So front would look over here, point over there. This would point to null. This points to Mary. This points back here at Al. Tom, like that. That points to ground. And that points there. So notice a couple of things. Notice the nodes now contain the key value and the location. This is a string, this is an int. This is the index into the big student database array. Notice that it's kept in order alphabetically, Al, Mary, Tom. So for example, if we wanted to print out the database in ascending order by first name, we would come to this, we'd go to front, and we'd start following the thing this way. And we'd grab the third record, then we'd grab the first record, then we'd grab the fifth record. If I wanted to print out the database by first name in reverse order, I'd follow the back pointer. I'd come over here. I would print out Tom, then I would print out Mary, then I would print out Al. Okay? If it comes along that I need to, if I insert a new person into the database, and maybe it's Roger, and Roger is in position 7, then what I need to do is I somehow or other I need to get Roger inserted at this point in here in the database, or in this linked list. So remember, your indexes, you had 3 ordered arrays before. Now you're going to have 3 double-ended, doubly linked sorted lists. And that is assignment number 2.